Hi everyone, welcome to the March 31st edition of Uncoast-Unconf preparation. I'm Ian Little, I'm one of the organizers of the Uncoast-Unconf, and this week we're going to talk about installing devtools. Devtools is an R package, which is itself a collection of tools that helps us to build and install packages. Before getting to devtools, I'd like to spend a few minutes to review the progress we've made so far. We're doing this because we want to be ready to collaborate when we get to Des Moines. We want to have all of our computers ready to go so we can concentrate on working together and not installing a bunch of stuff. That being said, if you're already happy with your setup with Git and GitHub and R and so on and so forth, there's really no need for you to do anything. Our reference that we're going to be using is, as always, Happy Git and GitHub for the user by Dr. Jenny Bryan of RStudio and her co-workers. And you see it here at happygitwithr.com. One thing I need to keep in mind is that I've been at this for a while. This means that I may go through things too quickly or not explain the things that I should. If that's the case, or if something unexpected happens as you're installing things, there's a couple things that you can do. First, you can file a GitHub issue, and you can do this by going to our Day Zero repository. You see the address right here. This is the repository. Then we go to the Issues tab. Then you can see that we have this pinned issue right here. I'm going to click on it. And feel free to ask any questions you have here. If you prefer not to file a GitHub issue, please feel free to email me at ian.little@se.com. So let's review what we've been through so far. Week of March 17th, we started out by looking at our RStudio IDE. What we want to do here is make sure that our version is at least 1.2. When we look at our RStudio, if we go to Help and About RStudio, you see here I have version 1.2.1327. So anything above 1.2 and you'll be fine. The second thing we went over the week of March 17th was our GitHub account. Make sure you have one, make sure you have access to your credentials. Then we had a little bit of homework to do. First of all, at the Day Zero repository, which again we see here at GitHub, I'll go to Issues, and this is where we want to please say hello. And just to note, I have had a lot of fun getting to know a lot of you through this issue, so thank you. Next, we have a little bit of homework from our lead organizer, Sam Tyner, where we want to know a little bit about how you see your role at the Unconference. Here, we'll go to a different repository, UU-2019. We'll go to Issues, and we see here that this is the pinned issue on this repository. So please respond here as well. So that does it for the week of March 17th. So the week of March 24th, we looked at Git and your R installation. To make sure that Git's installed, we'll go to RStudio. We're going to go to this terminal pane, and I'm just going to type git -version, hit enter, and I should expect a sensible response like this. Here you see I'm using Windows. It will work essentially the same on your Mac. With R, we want to make sure that you're using at least version 3.4. So to confirm that, we'll go back to RStudio. I'm going to go this time to the console pane, and we'll see it right here. This is the console pane, and I'm just going to type r.version.string. Hit enter. I'm using 3.5.3. And this will work exactly the same way regardless of if you're using Windows or Mac. In case you do need to install one of these softwares, be it Git or R or RStudio IDE, we have all the material in the week of March 17th and week of March 24th. So this week, we want to get into devtools. For building and installing packages, the devtools package makes our lives a lot easier. And in fact, the Tidyverse team who build devtools use these tools themselves every day. A bit of a spoiler alert here for what I'm about to show you. On macOS, everything should just work. On Windows, you may have to install RTools, and I'm sorry about this, but the devtools package makes installing RTools much easier. So to install devtools, we're going to go back to the console pane and just type install packages devtools. And if you're on Windows, you could get a warning that RTools is not installed. Just to let you know, we can ignore that for now. So I go back, and again, we're on console. I'm just going to type install.packages, then in quotes, devtools. Hit enter. And you see I get the warning here, and we will take care of this warning in our next step. All right, so we've installed devtools. Our next step just makes sure that we have everything installed. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to the console pane. I'm going to type in this command. And if this returns silently for you, you're okay. On Windows, if you don't have RTools, devtools will install it for you. So please let it do that. And that's in fact what's going to happen for me. So I go back to my RStudio and I'm going to type again from the console, devtools as devel debug equals true. As you see, devtools and RStudio are offering to install some additional build tools. Please take them up on this invitation if it's given to you. And this might take a few minutes. Okay, so let's let RTools set up and install on our computer. As this is installing, note that our has_devel call has returned an error. Don't worry about this. This is exactly what we're taking care of by installing RTools. This didn't happen for me, but the installer may ask you to amend your path variable so your computer will know where to find RTools. If so, I suggest you follow the advice and set your path. Okay, looks like we are finished installing, and we can confirm that everything's working by running the same command. I'm just going to write the same thing again, and it should just return silently. And if you're on a Mac, this is what should happen the first time. Excellent. We've had a silent return. That means that our development tools are properly installed. So as we've seen, when it's done installing, try the command again. And this time it really should return silently, and if that's the case, you're okay. The second bit of what we're going to do is we're going to install a package from GitHub. In this case, we're going to install the use this package, which we'll see much more of during the day zero itself. So I'm going to go back to the console window, and I'm just going to type devtools : install _ GitHub, and I can use some of this automatic completion here. The repository is r-lib/use this, and I want to use the option force equals true. Oh, pardon me, force equals true. And the reason I want to use this option is that even if it wants to install the same version again, I want to test that devtools will well and truly install. So we're downloading the repository. We'll see a few install steps, and as long as we come back without an error, we're doing good. Okay, I think this is all good news. I'm not going to worry too much about these warning messages. And again, as we saw, this should return without an error. And if that's the case, then you are done for the week. If it does return with an error, do let me know and we'll sort our way through it. So next week, We just have one more week to go. We are going to finalize our Git and GitHub configuration. We're going to verify that everything works, and then we're all ready for the unconf. If you have any questions, again, please feel free to file a GitHub issue, or if you prefer, email me at ian.little@se.com. And just to say thank you, we'll see you next week.